Hi guys, it's Tamara. I'm back with another video today. Today is Monday, and we're going to start a conversation by talking about parental mental health and the negative impact on children, adolescents, and adult children. So thank you so much for coming back to my channel today for those who are subscribed. And for those who are not, I encourage you to hit the subscribe button and stick around with us as we talk about mental health. I'm going to also link some of my videos up here for you. I'm going to link one here and one at the end of the video so that you can kind of stay up to date on what we're talking about, because most of these videos have a common theme. And the common theme is either relationships or trauma. And so if you're new to my channel and you have no idea who I am, you can find out a little bit more about me through those videos. Let's just go ahead and jump in. I want to give you the benefits, and then we're going to jump into the topic, all right? So the benefits for you today is that you're going to learn a little bit about parental mental health. I'm going to point out some numbers and some common mental illnesses and diagnoses, and then I'm going to give you an outline of the challenges that you are likely to face as a child, a teen, and an adult. And then we're going to come back on Wednesday with a bonus video, and then we're going to end our week on Friday with another video, okay? So parental mental health is something that I deal a lot with in my practice. I see a lot of kids, I see a lot of teens, single moms, single dads, people who are dealing with stress and trauma within their family, individuals who are dealing with vicarious trauma, substance abuse, poor parent-child relationships, intergenerational trauma, suicidal thoughts, self-injurious behaviors. I do a lot with the chronic, pervasive kind of illnesses and challenges within families, right? I rarely see kids with a little bit of anxiety and a little bit of depression, right? I'm always getting cases that are pretty hefty, pretty heavy. And so that's become my niche, that's become my area of expertise. So everything that you see on this channel reflects that, and parental mental health is part of that. One of the things I've noticed about parental mental health is that, number one, it doesn't get discussed as regularly and as much as it should. Number two, there's kind of this preconceived notion that if you're a parent, you're a good parent. If you're a parent, you don't have a mental illness. If you're a parent, you must be called to be a parent. And that is not true. I think it's easier for us in society to conceptualize and kind of fantasize that all parents are appropriate, all parents are healthy, all parents are intentionally good. And that is just not reality. There are some people who should never have children. I just strongly believe that. They should never ever have kids. Just don't even think about it, right? There's also some parents who should have kids because they are wonderful parents, and they just tend to have some emotional and psychological problems, right? And then there are some parents, of course, who are very healthy and they're just dealing with everyday challenges of life. But for those parents who have severe mental illnesses or instabilities, or they parent in a permissive, neglectful way, they don't need children, because what they do is they end up either mistreating the child or totally neglecting the child or disturbing the child to a point of no return, right? The kid has no ability to bounce back. So they grow up and become a very unstable and unhealthy adult themselves, right? So let me just give you some numbers, all right? So according to an article published on PubMed, okay, and it was an article that was in relation to the National Institute of Mental Health. And the article said that worldwide, about between 15 to 30% of youths have the possibility of struggling with a parent with a mental illness, all right? Between 15 to 30% of kids worldwide have a possibility of having a parent that has a mental illness, okay? About 50% of kids themselves will end up with a mental illness because their parent had one, right?
30-second daily routine that can help fix the meniscus and get rid of other joint pain.
I can't use my arm.
So there's also an article published, I'm trying to think of where this article came from. I think it's the Royal College of Psychiatrists. They say that 68% of women and about 57% of men struggle with a mental illness. They are parents, all right? 68% of parents who are women and 57% of men who are fathers have a mental illness, okay? So this is an issue that's not really hidden. This is an issue that's not really uncommon. It's just not spoken of enough. That's the problem, all right? So some common mental illnesses among parents who have mental illness. would be bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. Sometimes there's delusional disorder, right? So there's no psychotic features, right? They're not seeing cows over there. They're not thinking somebody's watching them through their vents. There's this sense of paranoia, and delusions. This belief that things are happening to them when in fact it is not, okay? There are also some parents who show signs of grandiosity. They're very, very narcissistic. They think they can fly, for lack of a better word, right? They're very grandiose. We also have parents who are narcissistic and arrogant. And most of them tend to thrill seek. They tend to engage in sexual rendezvous. They also tend to engage in substance abuse. And parents who are narcissistic and arrogant, sociopathic, tend to run very fast households where the kids have to grow up fast. They have to care for themselves, because if not, they're going to be neglected, right? The parent would rather be with a man or be on drugs, and that's the hard part, right? Because the child gets severely neglected. A lot of times in households where there's parental mental health, narcissism, grandiosity, delusions, paranoia, that kind of stuff, the family's isolated from extended family who may be healthy, isolated from parents and teachers who can maybe step in and be helpful. Some kids are also threatened not to say anything. If you go to school and say anything, you're going to lose such and such, right? Or if you go to your grandma's house and say anything, you're going to catch it, right? So, these kind of kids are typically isolated. They are in fear, right? They don't know which way to go. They don't know what to think. They don't know how to process things because the parent is so destabilizing and unpredictable and unhealthy. So what happens to a child when they are in this kind of environment, right? Well, I mean, guys, this is really difficult, and this is why we're going to have to go through this all week, because I'm just going to throw some things out there, but I want us to pick and pull apart some things, okay? So let me just go through my list here, all right? The number one challenge that you are likely to have when you have a parent who's mentally ill or unstable, and they are not seeking help, they are not aware, they may even be experiencing what's called anosognosia. I'm going to put that up here, and that is really a neurological condition that prevents the brain and prevents the person from seeing that they are actually sick, that they are in need of help, right? It blocks the person's ability to understand that their reality is not their reality. The reality that they are experiencing is not a healthy one, and that they need help, all right? So I will post, here's how you spell the word, but I will also post in the description box below some articles about this condition, because it's a real neurological condition, okay? All right, so what's the number one thing that you can experience as an adult, as an adolescent, growing up under parents who are unstable and mentally ill? Well, the number one thing is codependency. Codependency is basically, the way I like to describe it to my clients, is it's a fusion of characters. It's a fusion of mindsets. It's a fusion of emotions with somebody else that you believe is 100% your property, right? You feel that this is my girlfriend or my boyfriend, my husband, my wife, I'm dating them, I'm married to them, they are mine, right? Instead of having two individuals in a relationship where the wife has her own identity and the husband has his own identity, you feel as the codependent spouse that there's a fusion of all of your thoughts, all of your feelings, all of your emotions. And so therefore there's no individuality, there's no separation. I'm going to post a copy of my video that I posted last year as my very, very first YouTube video. Ignore some of the really bad editing, please. But that video, I'm going to post up here for you. You can learn a little bit more about my conceptualization of what codependency is, okay? And the next thing is eating disorders. A lot of parents come to my practice and they say, you know what, I think my daughter or my son has an eating disorder. They're restricting their food. They're worried about their body image. They're hiding their body. They are doing what I don't want them to do, right? They are not eating. They're not enjoying themselves. Well, okay, eating disorders basically consist of two important things, genes and environment. So if they have a genetic predisposition to an eating disorder, that's going to be a powerful influence. But if they have an environment, which is going to be the second thing, right? If they have an environment that's unhealthy, that's, you know, including of